dragon on high Crossguard.
Perhaps we haven't met. I'm Discord.
Another chaotic battle!
Taste the scream of death.
Greetings, comrades. This is 88 Gelu, and I'm back with another Skyrim character build. This one is, well, I would call it a slightly modified. It's slightly modified of the classic build. It is a Shadowscale. Now, a Shadowscale is basically an Argonian assassin. So if you don't know what the classic assassin build is, it is one-handed. Though because you're using daggers, I think Bladesman only applies to swords, not to daggers. So you're just going to go on the main branch of one-handed. Archery. May as well go for all of archery. Light armor, all of light armor, all of sneak, and light armor smithing, as well as obviously enchanting. Now, because this is an Argonian, and also I'm assuming that people watching this are using the Dragonborn DLC, after doing a bit of research as to how other Shadowscales classically fight, they usually have some sort of distinguishing markings on their face, like what I've done here. Oh, also, by the way, I'm a vampire, which is also good as an assassin, as alternative of being a werewolf, because vampires are very good at, you know, sneaking around, becoming practically invisible, and then wreaking all sorts of havoc. But as an Argonian, Shadowscale, you may also take points in restoration, because Argonians have a small speciality in restoration. It also means that if you get caught in a fight without being able to one-shot your opponents because of your sneak, you won't get instantly killed. This is very useful early on in the game. I wouldn't say take all of restoration. I would say probably take a few points, like regeneration. Necromage is not really needed. Respite would probably be good. And also, obviously, taking the main branch. I don't think recovery is really necessary, since at later levels, the times when you will need to regenerate magicka faster will become increasingly rarer. Though avoid death might be useful, so you may want to put 1 point in that. Obviously, don't go with dual casting. Okay. And also, if you want, you can go with alteration. I decided not to. And also, here is the main thing that sets kind of the Shadowscales apart, which is their use of one-handed weapons. Shadowscales have both skills in sneak, but also skills in sword fighting, meaning that as opposed to other assassins where you would just insta-kill guys by sneaking behind them and killing them, in the rare occasions, or the many occasions, considering early and mid-game, since you won't be able to do that very often, except for if you're just doing a lot of bow work, which I do recommend, you are going to end up fighting them face to face, and you're going to get your butt kicked. Which is why many Shadowscales have swords. When they fail to kill opponents with their dagger by backstabbing them, they resort to using their swords, in which case you would want to go full out with the one-handed skill tree in terms of the middle row, as is regular for assassins, but you would also want to get bladesmen. Now, the last things is setting your stats. So out of a total of 5, you would want to put, if you're going to use restoration, which is what I recommend, then you would want to do is put 1 point in health, 1 point in stamina, 1 point in magicka, then another point in health, another point in stamina, until you have approximately 250 magicka, in which case your other stats, your stamina and magicka, would be at 500. I think generally you would not need more magicka than that, unless once again you're using the Dragonborn DLC, where you could pretty much just level, where you can level infinitely. Now, as you're an assassin, who you would want for allies is probably either a wizard, someone who specializes in restoration and alteration, so they can get your back if you do end up getting in a sword fight, or just a straight up fighter, like classic Lydia over here, though she's nowhere near the best. Shut up, Barbas. Now, when it comes to guilds, it's obvious. The Dark Brotherhood. As a Shadowscale, or steeped in Shadowscale lore, you are trained since birth by the Dark Brotherhood. So then, of course, it would be simple to reason that you would want to join the Dark Brotherhood as quickly as possible. Another skill you might want to do is the Thieves Guild, as it also orients a lot in sneaking around, and also it's an easy way to get a lot of gold. The Companions and College of Winterhold you don't need to do unless you just want to do it for the quests and the items. Let's see. What else? As for enchantments, yes, enchantments are very important. The enchantments that you would want, though, are really the basic, I cannot talk right now. The basic Dark Brotherhood armors-based enchantments, where you can, though I don't think you cannot copy this enchantment, I'm pretty sure. No, you definitely can't. But you would want ones to increase your sneak, increase your bow. No one cares about resist poison, especially since you're an Argonian. I think you already have basic poison. No, never mind. That's some other guys. But yeah, you want to increase your sneaking, your bow damage, your one-handed damage. Also, having increased HP and stamina could also be really useful, as well as paralysis would be amazing. Also, absorb health or absorb stamina. And there are some other specialty ones. Oh yes, increased carrying capacity is very good, which is also another reason why I like to use the Thieves Guild armor. Just because the chestplate, the basic chestplate, gives you increased carrying capacity. Basically anything for standard thieves, which is sneak-based damage, damage with your dagger, sword, and bow, and basically anything to get you to survive, like all the increase health and stuff. Also, magicka resistance would be very useful, because if there's anything that can deal you incredible amounts of damage without you being able to recover in time for your restoration spells, it is magic. So it'd be very important to enchant your armor with magic resistance, just because that will be your main vulnerability. Now also a lot of assassins like to specialize in alchemy. I really don't care that much for alchemy, but if you want, you can do it. Once again, if you're using the Dragonborn DLC, then basically everything is available to you, no problem. And of course for your mount you would want, I think his name is Shadowmere, and Daedric Artifact, Maroon's Maroon's Razor, which is a dagger that has a small % chance of instantly killing your opponents, which is amazing. So, now that I'm done with that incredibly lengthy rant, before I leave, I will go over, a suitable shout. Obviously, the stone you want to use would be the I think it's called the Thieves Stone, until you've got all those skills pretty much at max, if not at max. And then I would recommend switching over to the Snake Stone, which will give you invisibility once per day. Also, the Steed Stone could be good because it increases your carrying capacity. But if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm sorry if I'm not doing that great of a job. I haven't done this in a while, and you know, I've had a very busy day, but that's my problem, not yours. This is going to be the last video that I make before yet another Yuntiv, so no video on Thursday again. Sorry, guys. But before I leave, shouts. Disarm would be amazing, because, once again, if you do happen to get in a fight, you can relieve your opponent of their weapons, and thus making them easy prey, or also Mark of Death, to lower your opponent's armor and also their stats. I think it's for the whole time. Yeah, I don't think it goes away until you kill them or leave the room. Also, I think it's called Elemental Fury would also be good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Once again, if you guys have any suggestions for other Skyrim character builds, or also anything that I should add to this video, please let me know in the comments. Not Purim. Why am I saying Purim? Sukkot Sameach. Have a nice Sukkot for those of you who celebrate it. And so, yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. Goodbye.